What's the role your parents play in your formation as a child? I say it's pretty significant. In Lincoln's case, we never talked about this, but it was his mother who loved him and saw something. His dad, evidently a real jerk. He didn't like him that much. Not very close to his father. Not real nice. His mom died, and the man remarried, and the second wife was the one who particularly was fond of Abe. And so it was his mother that encouraged him and gave him the nurture that the gruff, cold, distant, and detached father didn't give his gifted young son. Churchill had a similar experience. I want you to think about your own family of origin. He had a difficult relationship with his father, Lord Randolph, a nobility and a figure of great renown. And Lord Randolph regarded young Winston as a disappointment. And worse yet, he articulated the fact that he figured his kid was going to be a failure. Churchill once wrote, "He told me that I would never amount to anything and that I should be a disgrace to him and to my family." You'll never amount to anything and be a disgrace to all of us. I'd like to have that. If you want to have a victim narrative over your head, my father told me I'd never amount to anything. Despite this, he longed for his father's approval. And here's the quote I want you to get. He wrote of his father, "He died at 45, and I've always felt that I was robbed of a great companion." His father died at 45, and guess what? He never saw his son step into what he could ultimately be proud of. In contrast, his mother, Jenny, who was American and quite an attractive lady, believed deeply in young Winston's potential, and she poured confidence into him at a young age. "Oh, Winston, you're so gifted. Winston, you're so smart. Winston, you're so funny. She shone for me like the evening star," he wrote. "I loved her beauty. I loved her dearly. But I did it at a distance. She was like a fairy princess, a radiant being possessed of limitless riches and power. Kind of idolized Mommy. And Mommy thought he was great. But I guess back then they kind of sent you away to Edinburgh and all the schools and the prep schools and all that stuff. So you didn't really have a chance to have those family vacations where you all get to know each other like we do in America. But her encouragement shaped the boldness and persistence that ended up defining his public persona. The point being, and I'm laboring to make it, is you don't need anyone's approval to succeed. But it's helpful to have just one voice that believes enough in you to light your fire. Typically, if it isn't a mom, it's a dad. If it's not a dad, it's a mom. If it's not that, it's a sibling, it's a brother or sister. If it's not that, teachers are the great vehicle that can speak to a child's potential.